Okay, so what do we think of What If?
I know how I feel about it.
Which
Uh,
episode?
I'm tossing the ball I'm tossing out a ball. I don't know sports. I don't know. There's a ball, and both of you each have a ball.
Right. We're throwing the soccer ball and someone has
We're
to
taking the
catch
ball from one place and putting it into another place. I don't know sports.
Everybody's got a ball. Okay.
Everyone has the ball, grab it and misplace it.
Let's just go through it. The first what if Peggy Carter was butch as fuck?
Dude, yes.
I mean,
What if she was a lesbian?
she was clearly not a lesbian. She had a thing for Steve Rogers.
Gabriel
She
Stabbit.
definitely did.
Stab it.
Also,
But
Steve
those
Rogers.
shoulders, though, dude. Those shoulders, though.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of that particular body type, right? But everyone's got their thing. And then they made also Steve Rogers Iron Man, because why else would she give a shit about him?
Yeah.
I think what? Okay, of her character, a little bit of like a promotion hound.
Promotion hound? What do you mean?
I mean, a little bit of a ladder climber. A little bit of an opportunist.
An opportunist. I know, it was kind of
Hey,
weird.
someone had to do it. Someone had to get in there. No one wanted to get in.
Right. The storyline was kind of strange.
Okay, so this is how I feel. I honestly liked it. I do agree with you, D, about I guess her character design was a little too manly for me. She kind of looked like Hulk-wise body. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They could have. I don't know. It's still like She-Hulk is freaking huge, but she's still feminine. You know what I mean? She was, I guess.
Well, Wonder Woman is super powerful, but
But she doesn't look like a freaking like a linebacker.
right.
I get it. Super soldier serum, and let's celebrate different body sizes. It's not like it's an unhealthy body. Like, it's a muscular, exercises.
Right.
Right.
And we have to consider what the serum did to Steve. It made him quadrupled his size.
Okay. I guess I kind of see where you guys are going with this, because he was tiny and they needed to do all those things to make his body bigger. So I guess because he didn't get into the machine and she did, all those things that enhanced and made his body all huge and stuff made her Hulk-wise ish.
And really, if you think about it, from how small he went to how big he got, she grew a little bit less.
Yeah.
He got proportionally, he got larger, right? So there still was a little bit. There was a little bit of sexism in there. I think we could dig around and find some.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
sure.
plenty.
I'm sure.
It was plastered
Dude,
all over
you know
the
what though? I
goddamn
liked
screen.
it. I feel like she was hella strong as hell though. Dude, she was taking on people.
I mean, just talking about the show itself, I thought the artwork and the animation style was really cool. They made it look almost like an anime, the way she was fighting and whipping herself around and throwing others around, and they made her seem super strong, almost like a She-Hulk. The way she stopped that whole, I don't think I've ever seen Steve stop a whole truck like that, especially multiple trucks,
and then throw it
the way she did. Yeah, she stopped trucks that were going at what looked to be about at least 45, 50 miles an hour headed straight towards her.
Okay, I think technically what happened there was she planted the shield into the ground, and then when they hit the shield, it absorbed the energy and they flipped. That's how I read
impact.
that.
Yeah, true. That is vibranium shield takes in all that impact.
Okay, all right. Well, she
That's
did.
true.
Well, whatever happened multiple times, and where she was fine. So I was like, this is a powerful woman.
Yeah, she was hella powerful, dude. She jumped up that wall like it was nothing.
Right.
I remember when there was this debate about Marvel's sexist. Look, there's already a Harley Quinn movie, and look how DC's got a Wonder Woman movie in the works. And like now look at the state of things. Everyone's a girl in Marvel now.
Everyone's a girl. Thor.
Well, I mean, I think that it's only fair considering the first how many years was Sausage Fest? You know, I mean, dude, we had one girl in the Avenger team and she barely had a movie.
Okay.
Ooh, ooh.
I want to see the same level of like saliva bait coming from the girl superheroes as the like. There's like a scene where like some super buff dude has no shirt or like.
I agree with you saying.
You know, like there's like a muscle shot, like a beef steak shot, and like I want to see at least some side boob if they're going to be doing this.
You know what? I agree.
That's how we feel. We want to see a little bit of side ball every time we see a titty or vagina fly through the air. I like to see a little side ball over here, please. Side ball.
Right.
They talk about equality.
You know what? I can't wait for X-Men, especially X-Men, the female girls, because they're usually wearing like skin-tight outfits. So I'm waiting for them, and then we can slowly introduce the more like sexy heroes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm interested to see what they do with the costumes, because like the further in we go, the more comic accurate things have gotten so far, right? Like
I like it though.
Like the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
Like we just straight up saw the Scarlet Witch, and that was one of the ones that everyone was saying like, oh, well, you could never do like the Scarlet Witch, you know? Like, of course, like you have to like change things around, right? Like she specifically was used as an example in like multiple articles that I read, just talking about like, oh, how come Hawkeye's costume, like Scarlet Witch and Hawkeye were like the two big examples, because they got those big like the V-shaped, you know, weird like masks. And,
yeah, true.
Yeah, like the weird colors and all that. But they just fucking did it. They're drunk on their own power at this point.
Ooh, women.
I feel like it was done well though. It was done well. I feel like I like the comic accurate sort of Scarlet Witch, but that's, you know, like more live version. I like it. It's nice. I like the material that's used on it.
That'd be a great way to like. How do you differentiate the new Wolverine from like Hugh Jackman, who, you know, is like this iconic, like filled this role.
Classic, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I hope? I hope they find a Wolverine that's not like 6 foot tall.
Oh yeah,
that's how they're definitely gonna like set them apart. Okay, this Wolverine isn't like taller than everyone else, where in the comic books Wolverine was like a fucking dwarf.
I think I don't know.
Dwarf?
Well, he's like 5 foot something.
I think if you found a way to give him a comic accurate, like not like 80s Wolverine, but like closer to the original costume, you know, like somewhere in the middle, like not a huge V, you know, the big ears, but like a little bit.
The mask, just a little bit.
Like Catwoman style, sort of, you know, but further forward.
Okay. I see that.
I don't know. I think then suddenly you've got like, okay, here's a different product. I think you sell more toys.
Well, what's interesting is that you mentioned it's becoming more comic book accurate. What's happening in the comic book world of X-Men is so different.
Okay, thank you, Zodiac. I was going to ask you that. I understand, like, we all love Wolverine, but with Marvel kind of like pulling some new things, what if the Wolverine they show us is Laura Kinney of X-23 Wolverine and not like Logan Wolverine?
I'd be really disappointed. I'd be really disappointed in that.
Really? Okay.
I love X-23, but Wolverine is she's a different character, right? And she's similar to her father, but different, right? In the comics that I have read that include her, like, again, I don't read a whole lot of X-Men, but like they do crossovers all the time. Mm-hmm. I read a lot of Spider-Man. He's interacted with her. She's a different character. I want to enjoy Marvel's version. We didn't really get, just like physical appearance is one thing, but like we didn't really get like Wolverine.
An X-Men. Yeah, no, I feel you.
Like Wolverine is best with like a true Scott and like a real Jean, next to him.
All right. Okay. I see you. I agree. Emma Frost is one of my, if not my favorite X-Men or, mutant in the mutant world. And when she was introduced in First Class, man, I was so so disappointed. Definitely not Emma Frost. And like whenever she went into like diamond form and Magneto uses like a metal bedpost to basically crack her diamond form, I was like, oh my god! I like part of me died for them. Holy crap!
Yeah, that wasn't.
It was weird. It was different. It was different. But no, I feel what you're saying. We need, since Marvel, and I mean, come on, they have Disney's backing now. We should have like a more proper X-Men team that isn't like centered towards like a certain movie star because they're like Hollywood's like A-list, hottest star at the moment. That's what we got with Mystique. Like, how did Mystique somehow become the leader of the X-Men?
We got
I agree with you.
We got what, 2 or 3 good X-Men movies out of the like 10? How many were there?
There's a few.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there was like maybe 9. Yeah, maybe 9,
Yeah, there's like
9,
a few.
10. Yeah,
I would say
9,
so.
10.
What, X1, X2, and the first one where they're in like the 60s.
Well, there's the first 3, so 1, 2, 3, and then is it First Class after that? No.
Yeah, it's First Class. Yeah.
Yeah, First Class, and then the one after First Class was Future Past.
Days of Future Past. Yeah.
Days of
Days of
Future-
Future
oh,
Past,
what
and then
hot
Apocalypse.
fucking
And then
garbage.
Apocalypse.
That hot garbage.
Okay,
You
so
know what was unfinished, which was okay. Look, the Rogue cut was a lot better than the original version of the Days of Future Past. I like the Rogue cut, but the Rogue cut was unfinished as well. There were some parts in that was unfinished. There were some graphic parts that they kind of were like overlooked the green screen.
Didn't they turn Beast human?
Yeah, that's
human.
that was in
I
First
think
Class.
so.
Yeah, throughout the new X-Men. And that was, see, that's exactly my point. Like I said, because of those X-Men's too, like everything was like centered on like Mystique and that was the thing. And it's just because Jennifer Lawrence was the star of the whole damn movie that instead of like paying attention to the other characters, it was like, I feel like Suicide Squad, there's so many different actors in there, but it wasn't centered on just one person like Margot Robbie. You know what I mean? It was like everyone was a star.
Hey everyone, I'm in the future, and I realized sometime after recording this that I actually had never seen the second of the newest X-Men movies and was talking about the third in the series, and I have since gone back and watched the second of the third. I don't really even remember watching any of it. It's not a great film, and the third one was really bad. So I'm talking about the third movie and not the second movie. I don't mean to interrupt.
Just to show what like career power can do. In the first X-Men film that she was in, Jennifer Lawrence, had she's an attractive girl, and she had the full blue, thing for the entire film or for most of it. All the little bits of plastic and the paint and stuff. And then for the second film, about 2 scenes in, she was like, "Fuck that!"
Yeah, she didn't want to do it.
Just
Right.
it was just her, the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Because the first one she signed up for before the release of the starving children hunting each other game.
Hunger Games. Yeah.
Yeah. So she signed up for the X-Men film before that came out, I believe. So the contract was different, and then the second movie came out after she'd made that, she won an Oscar and shit.
Yeah, and dude, yeah, she did win an Oscar. So yeah, she did win that Oscar from the something Playbook.
Oh yeah, Silver Linings Playbook is a good movie. It's one of the few good movies that De Niro has been in the last decade.
Yeah, so I mean that was a good movie, and yeah, I mean you're right. Being an Oscar winner, you kind of have more pull, and you want to be the star of everything.
Okay, so apparently Robert De Niro is going through, was going through, I'm not sure if it's still going on, a really bitter divorce. And he was overheard at a restaurant on the phone, screaming at his then estranged wife. No, I think he was still with her. At some point, he's screaming at her, if you would stop spending my money, I wouldn't have to be in all these shitty fucking movies or something. He knows. He was in Taxi Driver. You could say it to his face, and like he would probably agree with you. Like,
Oh my God, Robert De Niro?
yeah, he has not been in a lot of good movies. Like like Meet the Fockers 5 or whatever. So here's my deal with with T'Challa. I understand that he's an aspirational character, like Superman, right? Superman, couple of like nerdy Jewish men created this ubermensch who would go and beat the shit out of bullies and Hitler and stuff. So like I understand aspirational characters, but is T'Challa a Mary Sue?
Is he a what?
A Mary Sue. Here, I'll read you the definition. A Mary Sue is a type of fictional character, usually a young woman, who is portrayed as unrealistically free of weaknesses. Like
a Superman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't like Superman because he's a Mary Sue. His flaw is wholly external. It's a green rock. His weakness is wholly external. It's another person. It's Lois Lane. I don't like it. It's I want him to have a problem.
Yeah.
I read one Superman story that I really liked, and it was Red Sun, and it explored Superman's need to control. Right, he became this fascist dictator
Because he wanted to save people.
Yeah. He the only way to completely prevent crime is to control everybody.
To control everyone. Yeah, to instill that fear in them.
So that almost kind of reminds me of Invincible.
Yeah, see, but Invincible has character.
He has. No, the dad, because Omni-Man, man, when he was beating the shit out of his son and all that shit, at the end of it, he couldn't do it. He couldn't kill his son because he was like, I know what I'm meant for to do here, but I can't. It was a little weakness for him. His whole family is a weakness for him, even though he doesn't want to admit it yet. With the whole T'Challa thing, I mean, we can consider his family his weakness, right? But I get what you're saying. They didn't really, the whole all of a sudden Thanos just walks away from his fucking goals,
from his mission.
Yeah, from his mission.
T'Challa gave a speech.
Yeah, because
or
of
whatever.
Conversation, because they had a debate.
And that's okay. So I've been reading a lot of Avengers comics, and right now Black Panther is the leader of the Avengers, not Captain America, and that lines up with he's presented as a Captain Picard who also is the best martial artist in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a little bit less Batman, a little bit more Captain Picard. He's more finding things out, but using diplomacy to solve problems. It was something that happened in the comics. I forget exactly what happened, but this is a recent comic, it's 6 months back. He had a problem with a supervillain and solved it through I don't know, international means Interpol or something like that. And it's oh yeah, that's right. He's the head of a world government. He's richer than Iron Man. He has more power than Captain America. He's stronger. He's got an armored suit. He's super smart. Not as smart as Shuri, but probably smarter than Tony Stark, or as smart. It's just too many. Okay, I get it. He's really cool.
But is he immune to colon cancer?
That's some fucked up shit.
That too soon?
Have you gotten tested for colon cancer? No? Well, click on that.
Click on that link. Subscribe and smash that like button.
I'm doing 10, 15 tests a day here.
Okay, sir, drop your pants. We're going to have to check your ass out.
So I thought it was a fine episode. So far the best one has been the episode 3, the murder mystery.
Dude,
that was where it clicked.
Crazy.
That was where it clicked for me. This is their Twilight Zone. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Of course that's what this is. Marvel Twilight Zone, and it's the format of Twilight Zone, and each thing, they can really explore genres and characters. Okay, the first 2 episodes were kind of entertaining. The third one was where I'm they could really do some really interesting stuff with this.
Yeah, they could really go outside the box. And I think this one's really cool how, they were fucking getting murdered, man. That was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. And it was even to the point where it looked like what's her name was getting beat up by like nothing.
Right.
Like a ghost.
Dude, D, have you seen The Incredible Hulk with, I think it's Eric Bana and Liv Tyler? Have you seen that one? Dude,
Yeah.
okay. So that whole scene, if you've seen that movie, that part where when Black Widow jumps out of the thing, I'm like, dude, this is like the movie. Or was that with Edward Norton? It was one of them. But it was like it was one of the Hulk films, man. I was like, holy crap, this is like,
I don't think Black Widow was.
No, she wasn't in there. She wasn't in there, but like that scene was kind of like taken from one of those movies.
I know that the first Hulk movie with Eric Bana was directed by Ang Lee, and he infamously made Eric Bana do like 100 takes or whatever. Like, there's a scene where he eats like a chicken wing.
What?
And Ang Lee really wanted to eat it in like a really primal way, So he just kept doing take after take after take until like Eric Bana like vomited chicken wings, which is the way I want to die, by the way. Like, an Asian man yelling for chicken wings.
Those chicken wings better be good.
I was genuinely surprised by the ending, like, I mean, it could have been a million things, like, they could have pulled anything out of a hat, but, like, the only thing that I didn't like was that the twist was a little bit unearned because they hadn't covered the fact that she was dead. Like, they just threw that out there as like a I don't know what the opposite of a Deus Ex Machina is, but it was Ant-Man because she's dead. Okay, sure, but I like murder mysteries where you're given all the clues yourself. Like, you could have potentially solved it if you wanted to. Like, that's why everyone really likes The Sixth Sense, because there's like little things, and like the second time you watch it, you're like, oh yeah. Is that just me?
I thought it was pretty cool. The first one, the first two kind of explored like what you could do with the characters, and then the third episode explored what you could do with the genre of the movies themselves.
You could never do
or at least of the stories,
Yeah, you could never do like an hour and a half murder mystery, in the Marvel universe. Like, it wouldn't be commercial.
No, and I think the show also further pushes the fact that in the MCU the timelines are all kind of going crazy. So it kind of gets everyone in the mood.
You are right. My only thing about that too is after the episode 3, like where Nick Fury goes and finds like Captain America, and Captain America is still in the ice. They kind of changed that up a little bit, because I guess in the other realm, like it was Iron Man, and then Captain America was discovered, and then Thor was in like New Mexico or some shit. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Iron Man was first, wasn't it? Isn't Iron Man? Well, but that's how it.
Yeah, Iron Man is first. Oh, the official timeline, but I still think Iron Man is first. Thor still comes after Iron Man, even in the official timeline.
But Steve was discovered before Thor even got to our planet, where he lost all the Albuquerque, New Mexico thing with the hammer. I think Captain America was already discovered, so it was just that was all changed up a little bit, because then Nick Fury went to go call Captain Marvel, and then they went to go look for Captain America.
Yeah, that was a great way to have like a nice upbeat ending. Like, you still got Captain America and Captain Marvel, and it's probably another captain, and I think Howard the Duck.
Right, sure.
Like what a terrific Avengers.
I'm surprised you're not saying that Captain America is Marvel's like little like Superman thing where he doesn't have any weaknesses. Don't you?
So Captain America's weakness is his rigid adherence to his own moral code. Like, that's a weird weakness, but like it leads him to, like, in the first Civil War arc, he's fighting with Iron Man because he just believes something. Like, he believes it, and he's going to fight for that thing. And anyone who stands in his way, he will fight them because he believes it. And that's like good and bad, right? Like, that good, and that makes him like an incredible leader, and he can inspire people. But it's bad in that, like, he has moments where he's completely disillusioned by the people he's supposed to be protecting, like when he became Nomad.
But okay, I will say though, I mean, during Civil War, especially the first Civil War, I tend to agree with Captain America. Like Iron Man, Reed Richards, Ant-Man, they were going too crazy with the whole cloning and making Thor and then controlling that Thor around thing. That was weird. They were going crazy.
You talking about the movies or the comics?
Comic book. Yeah, in the comic book, dude, it was they were going too crazy insane with trying to control people, and of course the whole registration thing. I'd agree with Captain America and with the X-Men, I guess, because the X-Men kind of remained neutral with that. They didn't want to be registered.
I don't know, One Punch Man. I kind of agree with Tony in the comics. One Punch Man. I think it's a cool show. It's a good idea. You got a bunch of superheroes. You get them centralized so you can send them out on missions.
My Hero Academia, man. Have you seen that anime? That's kind of like that. Heroes are like, I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with just because you have like powers, what if you don't want to be out there and be a freaking superhero? What if you just want to be like, dude, I have powers, but doesn't mean I want to be out there.
Well, then you hide it.
But that's illegal. That's against the law.
No, you just have to hide that away like a secret shame.
Right. Just pray that shit to go away.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that sounds like a movie until you get into a situation where you can save like a little child or something, and you have to make a decision on whether you want to go through with that.
Yeah, I got it. But no.
Yeah.
I think it's like a solid B. It's an entertaining series, and episode 3 makes me really hope that they continue to like really try to play with the freedom that they have. I just give me like one scene where they just talk about how Betty Brant tragically passed away before revealing that she's dead, and that's the entire motivation of the show.
You're so funny. Well, okay, to me, I feel like, what was it? Hank Pym was the killer. He lost his wife and then he lost his daughter, both to being this, to this, I guess, this secret agent, a secret government like agency that's supposed to be creating superheroes and stuff. And, he got all crazy. I can kind of see it. I can see it.
That's fine. It's just that the reveal wasn't earned. It's like, okay, what could it be? The whole time you're watching a murder mystery, you're trying to solve the mystery. Oh, who could it be? Oh, well, based on the information presented.
Yeah, who done it?
Here's my theory as you progress. And like the most satisfying thing is when the piece of evidence that's used is one that you had been aware of but discounted. I fucking love Columbo. Columbo's great. I've seen every episode of Columbo, and they show you the full crime in the first half of Columbo, and then like the second half or 2/3 of Columbo is just Columbo figuring out the crime, and it's just interesting, and 100% you see the thing that he nails the whatever culprit with before. There's always that big speech at the end, and Columbo's fucking fantastic. See, here's the thing. I got a wife. She likes to go out to eat. You gotta understand. And he's got a glass eye, and he's holding a cigar, and it's fucking the best television that's ever existed in the world. And he always nails the guy, but he nails him with something that you saw happen, or something that you, and you're like, oh, how's he gonna get the? Love it. Very satisfying. One of the best shows that's ever been on television.
Love it.
This is Columboned. Like it's like you've got a terrific murder mystery, and then it's like, and then who killed him? Oh, Mr. Jenkins, because 10 years ago there was a dispute about land. It's just a little bit like, show me, just give me like 10 seconds, like, oh, Betty Brant, yeah, tragic death, but we don't talk about that, and then move the fuck on, just give me something where I can be like, oh.
Yeah, it was definitely a mystery for sure. When you first watched it, for sure, from beginning until the beginning of the end scene, it was a complete mystery for sure.
Give me a chance to feel like a smarty pants.
I see. Put more like little breadcrumbs around so we can figure it out for you. What did you think about the new Spider-Man trailer?
Okay, so I have a lot to say. Number one, Spider-Man is fantastic and I love him, okay? It looks really exciting and I think it's a really great way to explore, like the multiverse is explored through Spider-Man a lot. Like, probably as
Oh
much,
yeah.
like maybe Doctor Strange does more like multiverse story arcs than Spider-Man, but like I don't think anyone else does. Like the Spider-Verse shit, there's like 10 different Spider-Men or Spider-Women characters, like Spider-Gwen, Spider-Woman, Spider...
Exactly.
Silk.
Oh, Silk. Yeah, sorry, I
Silk.
didn't
Yeah, Silk.
Yes, Silk, Spider-Man 2099. They had the Superior Spider-Man going for a while, which was actually a really
Miles
good run.
Morales.
Miles Morales, yeah, and Miles Morales leaked over from the Ultimate Universe into Earth 616, so like he's a direct byproduct of the multiverse stuff. And then they just like a year ago did this huge sweeping, I don't know how many months, but like 6 months maybe more, I don't know, of these like vampires that would hunt Spider-Man from one multiverse to the next and absorb their powers.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was like a whole thing, like leading to there's still a comic line where one of the characters who's like the Weaver of Fate is like an important, like he's like the Zordon, I think, of the, it's like a group. I forget which comic it is. But he's got like a big golden spider body and like the torso of a man kind of.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, and he was how they would traverse the multiverse. Like his web was like indicative of, I don't know.
That's awesome.
So the multiverse is like an important concept for people to get, and they're slowly massaging it into. And not everyone's gonna watch Loki. So like, just in terms of like the movies, how they're like, we had the Spider-Man movie Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
So like Sony's already done a little bit of the heavy lifting when it comes to like the idea of a multiverse and things being slightly different from universe to universe. And that was a very successful film. A lot of people have seen it. And I'm really excited Loki shows what possibilities there are story-wise when you can like reach into infinity,
Yeah.
I gotta say,
yeah.
I'm excited, but that trailer made me like, I was freaking confused. I was like, what the hell is going on right now? Like, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on.
How does he have the Eye of Agamotto?
It's
crushed.
knowing inside, yeah, which is cool. And why is Doctor Strange, who is the protector of our reality, why is he changing reality? Or, like messing with people's like,
why is he even doing that?
Yeah, why is he
as a favor to fucking
but like in a like don't tell my mom kind of way. Too.
Yeah,
exactly.
Dude, yes. So I'm very excited because I'm like freaking like what is going, and then like, okay, while Doctor Strange is doing his spell, like just because Peter is talking, like is somehow fucking up the spell somehow, and everything is changing up. Like I'm very, very interested, but at the same time I'm very confused because like, holy shit, what's going on right now? And of course, lots of people are saying like, what if this is happening at the same time as like WandaVision is happening and Loki is happening, and that would be fucking crazy. But it's one of those things where you're just like, I am excited. I can't wait for this movie to come out.
Yeah,
I
want
to
come out now.
So the first Spider-Man we got, he's like a really good Peter Parker, but he was like a terrible Spider-Man, like a weak voiced Spider-Man. Like, come on, you guys.
Yeah.
And he wasn't great, but he was a great Peter Parker, even though he was like 50 years old when they recorded that, when they filmed that. The second movie, they overcorrected, and we got someone who was a terrific Spider-Man, but was a terrible Peter Parker. He had like nice hair, and he was like skateboarded.
And you didn't like? I love Andrew Garfield's like Spider-Man and Peter Parker because, dude, like, why can't Spider-Man be a skateboarder? But I get what you're saying, though. I get what you're saying. He's not that.
That scene where he was like going through the park on a skateboard, and then he hopped onto like one of those metal scooters, and then he like ramped a dirt bike and like landed it and took off his sunglasses and like winked at a girl, and then took off his sunglasses, and that's not Peter Parker.
Yeah, I feel you.
Why is he wearing two sunglasses? You know, why would you wink?
I feel you. Out of character.
He was not a great. Although I thought that the love of my life, Emma Stone, was a fine choice.
Dude, she was great as Gwen. Great as Gwen.
Yeah, she was pretty awesome.
I just like how she's such cute. She's cute too. She has such a cute like attitude about her.
And there's always been the question of like, is MJ in the current series, is it Mary Jane? You know, because it's not Mary Jane in the films. It's MJ, but like, is she secretly Gwen?
Ooh,
which would be interesting.
Like Zendaya's character?
Yeah. It's not Mary Jane in the movies. I forget what her name is.
Yeah, I forget what her name is too from the movie.
So either like, why not just name her Mary Jane? Unless you're gonna do something with that, you know, like maybe it's a fake out, and then we meet Mary Jane. Although that would be weird.
Oh my god,
I don't know. Just
what if they if they do some fucked up weird shit where like this MJ, or you know the movie's MJ, who's not Mary Jane, gets replaced by another Zendaya that's Mary Jane from like a different universe. You know what I mean?
They can really do anything. Like I was watching some one of those YouTube shows where it's just people talking into a camera with like a green screen behind them. You know what I'm talking about? Hey guys, what's up?
Yeah.
And today we're gonna be talking about this in the news, and isn't this funny? Blah, blah, blah. So they were like talking about oh shit. I got completely lost in my fantasy of
the butthole.
I'm still there. I'm there. Someone pinch me. Wake me up.
them trying to get a good shot of it.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
What were we just talking about? We were just talking about it. Oh yeah. So I was just watching a thing, and they were like genuinely kind of like, oh, what? So in comic books, nobody's really dead now? Like that's the thing? It's like, yeah. That's kind of been how things have been for like 50 years.
For a long time.
For a long time.
For like the longest time. You're right. Well, I guess they're kind of a bunch of them are like kind of butthurt right now because of the whole X-Men thing. Because X-Men definitely just wiped out death. They can. If you're a mutant, if you choose not to die, you don't have to die anymore. If you're a mutant, that's the new thing about X-Men. And I guess people are like mad about that. Some people are like butthurt about that for some reason. But it's a comic book.
What happens if you get killed?
They bring you back.
No.
You get back, yeah.
So isn't it? Do they still have the five those 5 mutants who created?
They still have the 5. Yeah. They have Cerebro. That is so. In the new comic book, in the new X-Men, in the new run, they all are in Krakoa now, and then Arakko, Mars, and so throughout everything, Cerebro, that the Professor Xavier's little machine thing. Not only does it find mutants, it also starts to, which is freaking weird. What it's doing is it's backing up all your memories into it. So every mutant in the world, if you are born and Cerebro recognizes you as a mutant, it starts to just automatically just copy every single thought, everything about you. And that is why that's how their mutants are being brought back to life again. Even though they get killed, they can come back now because their memories are backed up.
Well, yeah. Well, there's a mutant who's like a creator, and they basically combined these mutants' powers to where are able to resurrect a human being and a mutant and mold it into what they want simply by just combining their incredible
DNA
mutations.
Also, their DNA. They also set it up where Mr. Sinister secretly has been collecting every single mutant's DNA, so that if a mutant does die, they use those mutants' embryos and their DNAs and stuff like that. And there's 5 mutants. It's Hope Summers, Eggman, Tempest, which is a girl that can control time, Elixir, and then there's one more. I think it's one of Xavier's children, if I'm not mistaken, isn't it? But he's also all these mutants are very, very powerful mutants, and what they honestly just revive mutants that have died.
So I'm reading right now. I'm reading a Spider-Man storyline. It's Dan Slott, I think, same guy who did I mentioned the Superior Spider-Man. They gave him Amazing Spider-Man, or he did Amazing Spider-Man, like a refresh, like starting at number one in 2015. And I just got to the storyline where the Jackal, which is a clone of Peter Parker who has cloning technology and uses it for nefarious things. The Jackal shows up and he's making copies of people, using that as leverage to do like further procedures, like copy organs and stuff. And everyone who goes through the procedure has to take a specific pill every day. So they're his, not slaves exactly, but yeah, like if they want to stay alive, they have. He has to be happy.
Okay, yeah. I understand what you're saying. It's like a...
So the idea of like sort of being cloned against your will isn't terribly new, right? It's been around since about like 2016 in Marvel Comics.
Oh, and of course,
dude, that I'm aware
of course, in X-Men or in I guess Krakoa. In Krakoa, there are rules, like you cannot just resurrect mutants unless you absolutely are 100% sure that mutant has died. You can't. So their biggest thing is like, for example, Jean Grey. You cannot resurrect like Madeline Pryor, which is the clone of Jean Grey, the Goblin Queen. And that is one of those things where you can't do that. It's against their laws to clone or to make other clones of you, so they can't resurrect, or they don't run into that whole entire like, oh my god, there's 2 Jean Greys now.
I can see getting a like 6-issue story arc out of that, maybe even 12. I approve of that for a short period of time. Otherwise, that's too little stakes. Like if a character dies, I want the writer to at least have to come up with something.
It gets complicated
because like the thing is,
that was established like right at the beginning of the new X-Men, whenever they started coming out with this, like I think a year and a half ago. Actually, wait a minute. I think that was like more like 2 years ago.
Like 2 years ago.
2.5 years ago. That was first established then. But there's so much stuff that's happened.
I read, I think, House of M, and I think that's all I read of the new X-Men.
Oh, dude, yeah, no. The newest one right now is like, we are trying to figure out, because Wanda, the imposter, was actually murdered on Krakoan grounds, where now everyone's trying to figure out who killed her. The Avengers are in town now. They're trying to figure out what the fuck happened to their team members because she died on Krakoan Nation, which is, they're kind of like, I don't know how we feel about you guys having your own freaking country now. It's pretty freaking cool. And like I told you, the whole Cerebro doing a backup thing, that's also another thing with that, because Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, and her brother Pietro are the only few people who are not mutants that have fooled Cerebro into making up a backup of them, a copy. And that's another thing too. Just because you can be resurrected doesn't mean that you don't experience your death. And that's why a majority of them, they don't like to be killed. They don't want to die. They don't, you know what I mean? Because you like sometimes remember everything that happens. So it's kind of a fucked up situation that you don't want to go through. Yeah, dude. One of the characters I kind of has grown on me is Kid Omega. He's died so many times now that he's like, it's so funny because he's like, fuck, I don't want to fucking die. Like, are you fucking serious? It's pretty cool.
I like that they've streamlined and like pruned back the X-Men. Like they realized that it was like really difficult to get into the X-Men because of like how dense everything was. Like they've kept bits and pieces, but like I appreciate that the new X-Men is an appeal to people like me, right? Like I've never gotten into X-Men because there's so many characters and there's so much shit going on. in any given issue, it's like, oh geez, I gotta go back like a year to figure out
Yeah,
this
comic books are
storyline.
like
You
that.
know,
It's just like the nature of fucking comic books.
Spider-Man's kind of a little bit less so, especially like the things that aren't the mainline Spider-Man. You know, like they're a little more like villain of the week kind of stuff. Avengers
Mhm.
is like villain of the week kind of stuff.
Mhm.
You know, I guess I kind of like the, like the current Avengers are lived like their headquarters is a giant celestial called Avengers Mountain.
Wow.
Yeah, and like they're in its head, they're using the brain as like a booster for a supercomputer, and Black Panther's the leader. They just had a big fight for who was going to be the new Phoenix, and who
Dude,
was
that
going
is
to
the
be
most.
like hold the new
Oh,
Phoenix
I'm
Force.
so cringed about that right now. Because
Oh,
it's Echo. I'm sorry, but Jean Grey is the Phoenix, is the host, is the rightful and true host of the Phoenix Force. That's just how I feel. But this whole entire thing and I feel like it started with X-Men against versus Avengers, where whenever the Phoenix Force was broken into different shards. I think it started there, where now I just feel like the Phoenix Force isn't special anymore. Like I just feel like everyone can fucking have it now, personally.
they kind of genericalized like everything, right?
Yeah.
Like Thor is a person, but also a title now. Like Spider-Man is like this inevitable thing that happens in every universe. Like I understand why they're doing it, like because it gives them like sort of options, like story wise, and they can always like change characters and swap things out, and like it makes marketing easier. I get that, but it takes the feeling of like uniqueness
I think that's why I
away.
love X-Men, because like Emma Frost is Emma Frost. Like you cannot, like, and Storm is Storm. You know what I mean? Cyclops is Cyclops. Wolverine is Wolverine, other than his children. But I think that's why I love X-Men so much. And yes, you're right. There's so many fucking characters, but I think that was kind of like the beauty of it. Everyone's different. Everyone comes in different shapes and sizes and different personalities, and I think that's why I appreciate X-Men more. I will say I like how Spider-Man, who's the star of the show. So I guess I do like that too. But with the X-Men, necessarily, like, Emma Frost isn't exactly a freaking superhero, but or a good, necessarily good person. But you just fall in love with that character because they're different.
You know who I was super into as a kid was Excalibur.
That comic line.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
Oh, okay.
it was like tangentially related to like they were mutants, and like they came from the X-Men comics, but like they lived in a castle and they had their own adventures, and they didn't really
Captain
interact.
Britain, yeah.
Yeah, and they didn't really interact with like the other X-Men, and they had a dragon. It was like the cool stuff from X-Men, but without the like 30 characters all like fucking each other at different intervals.
I understand what you're saying.
That's hilarious. That's so funny that you said that. The newest, the current roster of Excalibur right now, which he's not there anymore, but it was Apocalypse, Betsy Braddock, Captain Britain, Rogue, Gambit, and Jubilee, and I think the Dragon's in there too. But that's the current roster of Excalibur.
Rogue, Gambit, and Jubilee's a proven. That's a proven team up.
They're a pretty good team. Jubilee's back to being a mutant again.
Was she not a mutant?
No, she was like a vampire for a while.
Yeah, she was a vampire for a while.
Oh,
I know, weird, right?
It was weird. It was a really weird play.
okay. And she, things may have. I don't read the comics much, but I watched like the animated series like religiously as a kid. Jubilee's powers are kind of bullshit.
Maybe.
Like, isn't it mostly just like she like shoots like sparks at people?
Actually, technically, her power is energy manipulation, to where if she actually really did focus and learn to control her powers, she can actually control. It's kind of like small little atomic bombs that she can blow up at people.
Oh, okay.
I know, right? But she doesn't ever use her powers in that way, or doesn't, try to, control her powers into that level. But if she really did, she could create like, a small little atomic bomb. She can blast someone with it, like a small little atomic bomb, if she wanted to. Yeah, crazy power.
I would call it a person going nuclear is what started the first Civil War. How do we feel about Jon Stewart?
Oh yeah, okay. I'm like I said in my text, I'm excited to see him again. You know, I've always loved his work. He makes me laugh, or at least he used to make me laugh so hard. And I guess I'm just hoping for that experience, and I doubt I'll get that exact same experience. But watching him recently, I just feel like he just looks more and more upset with the state of the world. So I'm interested to see how kind of more crotchety he's gotten, if you will.
So what I like about Jon Stewart and what I'm excited about is that he's the type of, well, I guess journalist that you want to, if you want to call him that, but he's not going to just like ask you a question and just let you answer. Like if he thinks that, okay, hold on, you have to elaborate on that. Like he's like, okay, you got to, like dig into that. Like I feel like that's what's wrong with our media right now is they're not asking fucking questions. They're not like, can you like really elaborate on that shit? Like, or like pressing them. Like half the times these people are saying one thing and then the next day they're saying another thing. Like, oh, I never said that, but we have you on record right now fucking saying this shit. Like we need people to like press them, and I feel like Jon Stewart is that type of person to do that, and we kind of need that now. People are fucking crazy.
He's been killing it on Colbert,
right?
Like if that's the format that we get, like the same Jon Stewart, but more crotchety. Like if you had asked me if such a thing were even possible,
right, exactly. It's true though. He's so much more like, oh my god, I hate everything. Like, kill me now. Like, he's just like, this is ridiculous. And we've watched him do that, off camera, in courtrooms now for several years now since he's been retired, at least from his entertainment.
Dude, I bet you Jon Stewart was all like, dude, these people are taking like sheep fucking deworming medication. I have to get back on TV.
It'll be interesting. I'm assuming that it's gonna be a once a week thing, like Last Week Tonight. But
yeah, that'd be great.
So it'll be interesting to compare him to Trevor Noah and Last Week Tonight guy, John Oliver.
Yeah, John Oliver.
It'll be really like, I mean, you're gonna have to compare them, right? Like that
So, okay, I try not to, only because I feel like with Trevor Noah's new Daily Show, it's more, I feel like it's different because it's through people of color's point of view. You know what I mean? And I think that's what, it's a little different. And I hear lots of people kind of like talking about how, oh, Trevor Noah's Daily Show is now like this. But, well, of course it's like that because it's through a person of color's like point of view now. You know what I mean? It's not like it's not Jon Stewart's point of view. It's Trevor Noah's point of view. And with John Oliver, well, I just fucking love John Oliver, man. I've loved him since fucking Daily Show. So,
but Trevor Noah,
he's great.
Trevor Noah is also like more of a nice guy. Like he'll still press people in interviews. He's well educated on the issues when someone comes in,
But I hear you. Yeah, I hear you though. He is kind of nice.
But Jon Stewart, like when he would go after somebody, like he would like there was a bite to it.
When he was making fun of what's his name's bow tie was hilarious to me, man.
Well, he just has this New York Jew thing that just makes it so fucking... It's classic, and I think we're Americans, and we can relate to that New York Jew thing that he does, and he does it so well.
This is true, okay? So, like, I've been, like studying the Bible recently, and, like, there's all these trials and tribulations for the Jewish people, like, including, like, 40 years in the desert, and the reason for this is because... Jewish people are hilarious when they're uncomfortable and irate.
And I'm living.
He's got a great sense of humor. And he loves when his chosen people are convincing and moaning.
Yeah. He just, I don't know. He did such a good job, and he was just perfect, and he looked like he was having such a good time. And I think with Trevor Noah, I don't know. There's a more seriousness about him that makes him funny. But I would have to say Jon Stewart was more along the line of satire.
And there's like a veneer of privilege that Jon Stewart had.
Yes.
That like allowed him to kind of be above the fray, and when I when I watch Trevor Noah, I kind of get the like I'm in the fight.
Yeah, you're right. He grew up that way. Yeah.
So well, I mean, you know, just like there are a lot of topics that he can like speak to from a personal perspective because he's had such a varied, interesting life. And Jon Stewart grew up in New York, and worked in New York, and kept kind of a private life, you know. But I think that allowed Jon Stewart to be like this thing that was kind of like above the politics and like the bullshit. And he just like, he was judgmental, but it wasn't like you're a bad person judgmental. It was like, this is a bad idea. These were bad actions. And there's always a heart, even to like even when he fucking hated someone, you know, like you could see a little bit of like, I don't know, not respect, but like understanding, you know, empathy.
Okay.
And I see like Trevor Noah's got a lot of the same qualities, but I don't know why I don't get the same thrill. Like I'm more excited to see new Jon Stewart than I am to see new Trevor Noah.
Yeah, I know. I really like Trevor Noah's stand-up, but I've always kind of had a hard time getting into his daily show.
Feel like
I
think it's because his energy isn't as excitable as Jon Stewart. You know what I mean?
Trevor Noah's a Mary Sue.
Yeah, he does. He has a lot of really great things going for him. He really is. I think, if he got drunk, what kind of drunk do you think he'd be?
You know, I think
he would be a respectful drunk.
Yeah, like I think that he would get embarrassed about puking on the couch, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he would get like if he got like super wasted and he fucked something up, like he would like apologize for like 20, like before he passed out, he would like pass out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in the morning he would totally help clean up. Okay, so that was hey guys, that was a fun discussion. So I think what we should do is just as a way to go out on, I'd like to share with you just the inspirational quote.
The moment of Zen.
Yeah. So this is a nice inspirational knitted on a cross stitch hanging on the wall, you know, for the folks at home. Develop an attitude of gratitude. Say thank you to everyone you meet for everything they do for you. Brian Tracy. Like, go fuck yourself. Bye.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.